Hello everyone, this is Tech Urvashi. Welcome to day 3 and the finale day for your React optimization works. Okay, I hope you guys are doing well. And today is Sunday, it's like a weekend. I hope you guys had a good day. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, we'll quickly recall what we did in the previous 2 days. Okay, and we'll talk about optimization hook, use transition today. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to all. Okay, so what we are going to do today is we are going to talk about a new hook, okay, which is use transition. It is one of the hooks we use to optimize our React application. Okay, but how we use it, okay, we are going to see. I'm just going to connect my pen tab. Just give me a moment. Okay, so I'm connecting pen tab. Okay, perfect. So just to recall what we did yesterday, okay. So we talked about use callback. Okay. Firstly, of course, we saw the problem, and then we talked about use callback hook. Okay. This is something we did in the yesterday session. Okay. What we are going to do today, okay, we are going to talk about use transition hook. Okay. But directly, I'm not going to start. Firstly, today, because use transition is something maybe you might not even heard of. Okay. This use transition hook is basically used for a very very fixed piece of, let's say, requirement. Okay, so what we are going to do today, first we are going to see that situation, we are going to see what's the problem, okay, through the code, and then we will resolve it using this use transition hook. Okay, so from the name itself, transition means transitioning from one state to another. Okay, so something which is from one phase to another phase. So there we need this. Okay, so here what we are going to do quickly, if you guys remember. So today's day three. Okay, so day one we talked about events, right? This events tab, and we created this or worked with React.memo and use memo hook. Then on dashboard, we talked about use callback, and live feed will talk about use transition. Okay, so in the end, you will have this complete application with you. Okay, so someone is asking which subject is this? This is React JS. Okay, React optimization. Okay, so this is basically one of the advanced front end libraries that we have for web development. Okay, okay. Now coming back to this. Okay, so this is my app. It has this live feed component and live feed component. Okay, and one slow analytics. These two components I have here. Okay, so firstly, let's start. Okay, so what am I going to do here today? I'm going to create two buttons here. Okay, one will be the normal field, and one will be the let's say some transition that I want to put. Let's say some heavy analytics I'm going to add. Okay, so there will be two buttons here. Okay, or I'll say two tabs. Okay, one tab will be normal feed, normal feed. Okay, just a button, and one will have some heavy analytical data. Okay. So when I'm transitioning, this is what I'm going to do. So when I'm transitioning from one tab to another tab, okay, how the data will react if you are, having a lot of heavy data iterations, library charts type of data, if you're doing in any of these UIs over here, okay, how things will mess up or your UI will freeze without use transition, and how it will help us to resolve the problem. Okay, that's the main idea. So use transition hook, you might have not heard, but we definitely use it, especially when you have huge amount of heavy analytical data like charts data, dashboard data you have, or an analytical something related to the heavy charts data that you have to display. Okay, that time we are going to use it. So now let's come here. Firstly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create. So my first task is to create these two tabs. Okay, normal feed and analytical data. Okay, so here I will start again. I'm going to use Tailwind. So we'll spend 15-20 minutes to create this, basic structure, the tabs, the component. Okay. Then I will show you the problem. Okay, how my UI will freeze. And if you don't use this, okay, because obviously just think about it, right? In real time, you will have a lot of data. to be displayed. Okay, so when you are having a lot of data that you have to do looping on, or doing analysis on, right? So how that can freeze the UI, okay, if you are transitioning in the data. Okay, so if you have not heard of this, it's absolutely fine. Okay, today definitely you will be able to understand and clear your doubts in this. If you already know and if you have heard of it, then you will learn it. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, so here I will create one heading because this is my live feed item. Okay, so here you guys can see this is the same headings I've maintained here. So it's dashboard, it's events, see event schedule, dashboard, and now live feed. Okay, so similarly I have created this heading over here. Okay, now next task is we want to create these tabs. Okay, now for these tabs, okay, now what I'm even for these tabs, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a separate component. Okay, because in real time, as you know, in React we go with as modular approach as we can. Okay, so I'll say space x hyphen 2, okay, hyphen 6. This is what we have here. Okay, and here now I want to create tab. Now there are two options. I want to create these tab buttons. Like I said, one will have normal feed text, one will have analytical data. Okay, so what I can do, I can create a common component. So there are two options. Either I can create that component inside my component folder, or because today we just want to focus on this one part, so what I'll do here, I'll just create it in the same place itself. So I'll create one tab over here. Okay, so I will just call it as tab component. I'll say const. Okay, so it is nothing but a new component I'm creating. The same component, if I want, I can create it in a separate component file as well. So for now, I'll just keep it as this tab button. Okay, it's a common component and it's going to be a function based component. Okay, and it will take few props that we are going to send. Okay, and then what this will contain, it will contain a button. Okay, basically this tab is going to be a tab button. Okay, and just for the reusable code, I'm just putting it in a separate component. Now same the component I'm creating in the same file, just like this is my one component live feed, I'm just creating another component here. The same component we can create in component folder as well. Okay, so here I will have, like, when you click on the button, something should happen. So I will have on click. Okay, I'll apply some CSS on this button. I'll say class name, and here I'll say curly brace template string. I'll say padding. Okay, then I'm going to apply rounded LG. Okay, then font medium. So this CSS I'm applying on button. Okay, then I'll have this. Okay, so inside this we'll say, now there are two options. Okay, because if I'm clicking on this button, okay, normal feed over here, then that means I'm on this button. Okay, so it should have a different CSS. If this button, if I'm clicking on this button, then this should have a different CSS. Okay, so for what we are trying to say is that if I pass this tab button over here, if I pass this tab button from here, okay, so this component which I've created here, okay, which is nothing but a button, if I'm putting this bad tab button over here, okay, I'm saying pass is active. Okay, means as pass some on active value and some on click value. Okay, so I'm passing this data as attribute, it will be received here as prop. Okay, simply I'm passing this as attribute, it will be received here as prop, and I'll put the text here normal feed. Okay, now again I want to repeat something here, that I hope you guys know this part. If you in a component, if you pass some content, right, it will be received here in a children property. So whatever you pass inside, so whatever component you create, okay, and whatever whenever you are importing it and putting any content element content inside that, so this normal feed will be received here as children. So we have this children property inside props, so through that we can access it. Okay, you guys might have seen, components, might have seen components being imported like this only. Okay, let's say tab button, okay, like this, right? But we, if you import it like this, and whatever text we put here, right, this text will be received as children property to this tab component. Okay, so this normal feed will come as a children, comma, whatever we want. Okay, so second property that I'm passing is active, And third property that I'm passing is the on click, the method. Okay, for now I am keeping it as on click. On click, of course, we'll put some method name just in a while here. Okay, so I'm passing this is active. Okay, then I'm passing on click plus children property. Whatever content you pass here, automatically that is received here in the prop as a children property automatically. Okay, so this children property you guys might have seen in your JavaScript as well. Okay, so here I'll just put a condition on this, means whichever I'm clicking on, I'll say active. Okay, question mark, then this CSS should be applied indigo. Okay, then I'll apply this, then I'll say text white, if whichever is active. Okay, just like I've applied CSS on these. See, if I click on this, see, this is having background color blue, text color white, right? And these two are having blue and blue color. If I click on this, you can see the background color of this will change to blue and the text color is events. Okay, this is exactly what we're talking about. So the one you are clicking on, the active one. Okay, how you are passing, we'll discuss that. But you can imagine some active value will come, which will be a true value or false value, boolean value. So if it is true, then this means this button is active. Or I'll say background slate, let's say 100, text slate 600. Okay, when you hover over it, okay, then I want to change background slate 200. Okay, so this is how it will come, means whichever you click on that will come. Okay, plus whatever content you are sending here within the component, that will come inside the children property. So what will be the name of the button? The children property. Okay, because this is what I want, right? This is what I want if it is normal feed, then that should come. Okay, and if it is other one, then that should come. Okay. Okay, I think someone mentioned. So we are discussing on React JS. Okay, we are talking about use transition hook today. Okay, so what I just did, I created one component called live feed. So this code is a continuation of previous 2 days. Okay, so if you have not attended previous 2 days session, you will have to, because this complete app is linked. Okay, this complete app is linked with each other. This complete app. Okay, so we are on this third day, which is live feed. Okay, so we are talking about React optimization hooks. This is, so what I've done here, just to explain this part, I've created one component here called tab. I wanted to create a common component, which is basically a button. When I click, whenever I want to create put a button, I can just call this tab button, this component over here. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that whatever content we pass inside this component, that will go here as children property. Okay, and I can do also one thing. If you guys don't know about children property, I can console it and show it to you guys. Okay, so children property, you get whatever content you pass to this. Okay, okay, so that is how it is. Now this is how your normal feed should be created. So this component will be called. Okay, then this basically this component is returning a button. So this complete button will come here basically, which will have normal feed as the text, because that's the children property over here, and these are the CSS. So whichever you click on, okay, so that will become active. Okay, that is how it will be. And here, if I want to pass this condition over here, okay, like it should be active. Okay, so here we can pass some conditions. Let's say okay, let's create another one. Okay, let me show you why I created a common component, because here I'll say heavy analytics, like this. Okay, and I'll pass the same here as well. Is active is equal to this, and on click is equal to this. Okay, so similarly, you will have this data here as well. Okay, so same component I'm using here as well. So same, that's why I created a common component. Now, if I'm calling this component for this, the children will be heavy analytics. So you will get heavy analytics over here. Okay. All right. Now coming back to this, okay. Now here we have to maintain the state variable. Now how will I know which tab is active? We will define a flag variable like a state variable. Okay. So we'll say tab set tab. Okay, is equal to use state. Okay, and initially I'll keep a value as feed here. Okay, so here if it is feed, okay, that means that I am on this normal feed. Okay, if the value is, let's say, analytics, then it is on analytics. So here I'll just put a condition: if tab is equal to feed, then the value, this value will be true. Okay, and here I'll say tab is equal to analytics. Okay, so this is the flag variable I've considered tab. Okay, so based on this I have applied the condition. Okay, now if I click on this, some function should be called. Okay, so I'll say const select tab. Okay, and this function I'm going to pass from here. And from same place, same function will be called. Okay, and if I'm calling it from here, I'll send that it should be feed. Okay, and if I'm passing it from here, I'll say analytics. Okay, so now just think about it. If I click on this button, normal feed, then I'm saying it should change to feed the value. And if I'm clicking on this button, heavy analytics, the value should change to analytics. And where this value will go, simply this function we are passing here, right? Here, this the place the function will be received. So I will just pass this function over here. Okay, this on click is the event attribute. Okay, and this is your the value of the function on click will come here. Okay, so it is very simple. If I click on this button, then value I'm sending of this function, I'm saying change it to feed. Okay, okay. One thing, it should be set tab, not select. Okay, so here you can see. So it will change to set tab. So I will change the value to feed. So this should come. Okay, this should become active. If I'm on this, I'm just changing it to analytics, and this should be active. Okay, and this is how it will come. Okay, let's see if we are getting any error. Okay, okay, we are getting error of use state. I'll just import that. So sometimes it happens, right, that automatically you're typing use state. Sometimes it comes and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, but that's fine. Now you can see these two are created. So normal feed is this and heavy analytics is this. Okay. Now this space. Okay, so let's see this. The space between these two tab is not coming. So I have added space. This is the tab, and this is the another tab. Okay, anyways, let's move on to the next part. Okay, this is coming, this is working. Okay, now switching between the tab is right now is very smooth. I hope you guys can see the switching between the tab is quite smooth. Okay, now here I'll just put one line over here. Okay, so I'll create a div here. What we want to put inside this will add just in a while. Okay, but I'll just create a div, empty div here. Okay, it will have a class. Okay, I'll give a minimum height. Okay, so sorry about that. I think something messed up. I'll reshare my screen. I mean, something happened with some technical issue. Okay, let me reshare my. Okay, let me know once my screen is visible. Okay, I hope it's visible to all now. Okay, my screen is visible to all. Okay, now let me recall. I'm not sure from where my screen got freezed. Okay, so while it demonstrating this, you can see my my own screen got freezed. Anyways, let me open that local host. I think the issue was, this is what I feel, the issue came because of that app. This is what I feel. So what I'll do here quickly, what was that local host? I'll just run it inside another tab, another browser. Okay, so that it doesn't create a issue for me. So I'm running it here. Okay, so demonstration part of this, I'm doing it here. So if I go to live feed and if I click on heavy analytics, you can see, if I'm so right now what is happening, this piece of code is being calculated, this part. Okay, so when I click on normal feed, it's all fine. Okay, it's all fine. But if I click on heavy analytics, it is synchronous code, and this piece of code, so it will start executing this code, right? And this code will take time. Okay, this code is going to take some time to execute. That's the main problem. Okay, because this is synchronous. Okay, and just think, if there are thousand lakhs of records, your application will crash. Okay, that's why you're getting this error of like wait or exit pages, and this is the main reason. So this is freezing your UI. Okay, so the problem is the transitioning from one tab to another. Right now it's not even opening heavy analytics properly, and even if I want to go back to normal feed, I'm not able to see. I'm not able to. It's my UI is freezed. See, anywhere I'm clicking, it's freezed. Okay. So how to solve this problem? Okay. So next part is how can I solve this problem? So solving this problem, now comes your use transition. So use transition hook gives you two things. Okay. Firstly, it gives you the, let's say, one boolean value. Okay, based on which you can put some condition is equal to use transition. Okay, and this transition, okay, is going to, okay, it's already imported, comma, okay, you have to, it gives you this method called start transition. Okay, so it gives you two things. This pending will be a boolean value. Okay, if it is true, then you will display, let's say here I will put this, that if it is true, if it is true, okay, I will say and this. Okay, so means if this is true, then this is going to come, otherwise not. Okay, so this is true, then this heavy loading heavy tab in the background will come. Okay, plus how to solve this problem. Okay, also the switching tab. Okay, so in this part we have not added like this select tab thing. Okay, so now I will just change a bit small things in my code. Okay, now what I'm going to do is this set tab that we had here. Okay, I will just remove it, because then if, see, why am I doing this step right now? Why am I not putting the changes here? Because then I have to write start transition in two places. Just to avoid it, what I'll do here, I'll copy this method, I'll paste it over here, I'll paste it over here. Okay, and set tab I'll do here. I'll say set tab. Okay, and inside this I'm going to write, so let's say I'll take a parameter called next tab, and I'm going to pass this next tab over here. Okay, firstly, this is the small change I've made in my code. Okay, this is the first small change I've made in my code. Okay, okay, let me open it in a new tab. Okay, so of course, I've not solved the problem yet. So this is how it is coming right now. Okay. So here I'm saying, if I click on this button, I'm sending this feed over here. That means this should set. If I'm clicking it from here, then analytics should come. Okay. Now here I'll just add one thing called start transition. Okay. Now inside this start transition, okay, I will, this start transition is nothing but a function. Okay, which takes a callback. Okay, now what it says, now what this start transition will do, start transition will say that you run the code if you have any tasks that need to be run, that will run in the background. Okay, but at the same time, if I'm switching between the tabs, that should happen. So start transition will like it will add the transition in between. Let's say you clicked on this feed and then you clicked on heavy analytics, right, normal feed and analytics, so it will just transition that. So it will not change or update, rather it will do the transition, it will start the transition. Okay, and in the background this will keep on running. Okay, in the background. Okay, let me open it here. Okay, now just see here, if this is normal feed and this is my and heavy analytics. Okay, one second, I'm not getting this data. Where is this data called heavy feed? If this is feed, then normal feed should come and then analytics. Okay, so we are not getting this normal feed data. Let me check. But transitioning is happening smoothly. See, transitioning is happening smoothly. Let's see why we are not getting the data. Okay, so right now the problem is that I'm not, so this is working, this is working. Okay, so if I click on heavy analytics, you can see this is coming rendering heavy data. Okay, we got some error. No, no, this is warning. Okay, no, no, something is missing. So transition is fine, but the updation is not at all working. One second, let me check. I mean, the problem right now here is that it's not updating. Okay, like this tab switching is not updating. So if I click on this tab, then it should give me select tab. Okay, which is feed, and if I'm clicking on this tab, then I'm changing it to this tab, which is pending. Okay, for a moment, let me remove this code. Okay, so this is coming, but this is not coming. When tab is feed, the normal feed is not coming. Let me check. So are we getting anything in console? Okay, here it is coming. Okay. My bad. I have to reduce it height to 100. Yeah, now it's fine. Okay, so it's coming. Actually, it was coming below. I didn't realize that the height I have kept is 400. That's why it was hiding below. Now you can see it's normal feed. This is coming. Okay, and this is also coming. That heavy, this is loading. Okay, also I'll put it in is pending so that if its pending is true, then only it should come like this. Okay, then only it should come like this. If is pending is true, then this will come. Okay, so now you can see spending will become true only when I'm switching. The transition is happening. Let me also refresh and then show you guys it this part again. Okay, so now you can see it's all working fine. Now I click on heavy analytics. Okay, so in heavy analytics, okay, no, it's not going. Let me check in console. Okay, now you guys can see this heavy analytics data is it's taking really a good amount of time. You guys can see if I go to heavy analytics, now this data is coming. This okay, and also I'll put I here so that the values will come. Okay, so now you can see this is coming. If I go to heavy analytics now, okay, so this heavy analytics, slow analytics basically will take its time for this piece of code to be executed, okay, and it will give me this heading and this data. And in between, if I want to switch back to normal feed, I will be able to do it now. Okay, now I should be able to do it. That is because of this uh, start transition. Okay, now let me enable this start transition and open it in new tab. So now you guys, I think you guys saw it was freezing. Now just see if I click on heavy analytics, now it is saying it is giving me this like this is pending means it is telling me that transition is running in the background, and till the time transition is happening, it is saying me loading heavy tab in background. Okay, and if I want to go back to this normal feed, I should be able to. And why this fast part is coming, that is because of this is pending. So what is pending is helping us with, it is saying till the time this show analytics is not loaded properly, okay, it will keep on showing me the previous data, the old UI, okay. But yes, when this data has been loaded, the data has come, then that will come, okay. That is your start transition, okay. If now if I remove it again, I'll show you the problem. If I remove this piece of code and if I refresh, okay, here see, if I click on heavy analytics, see, you don't know what has happened. For you it will be like the app is broken and you can see nothing is happening, I'm not able to switch between the tabs, okay. Now what has changed, the moment now this transitioning between the tabs, so you're transitioning from feed to analytics and analytics to feed, right. So so that state change of this feed to analytics, now it will happen not immediately but like a transition. And in heavy analytics, since some data is already running in the background, okay, let me open it again in a new tab, because this is already running in the background, okay. Now you will see, if I click on this, see, now I will get heavy this, so it is telling me it's like a spin, just like you guys have a buffer spinner, right. So you are giving a warning like this is taking some loading, like something heavy data is being loaded, heavy computation is happening in the background. So you will get this, okay. And once it is ready, once the data is ready, then that part will come, okay. That is how it works. Okay, I hope you guys understood the transition. Okay, okay. So once it is loaded, then the data will come. All right. So if you guys have any questions to this, let me know. Okay, and whatever I have spoken today, okay, it's all here in this document. Okay, so concurrent React, that, so historically it was urgent, and like immediately you're doing something, then like earlier in React I'm talking about, then immediately, okay, it just move on to the next part. Okay, it just stop the first thing and move on to the next part. Right now, what is happening? It is just running the same computation in the background. It is still running the same computation in the background. It's not stopping it immediately. Okay. Also, I'll show you this here. One last time. Okay. Transition is active right now. Okay. See, it is easy. And if you want, see, if I'm going to heavy analytics, it is saying now if I go to normal feed, I'm able to switch easily. Okay. So even if I'm going to heavy analytics, okay. So in background, this piece of code is being executed. So transition is, so that is what transition is helping. It is transitioning. It is helping me to switch between the tabs, and in the background that thing is happening. And in between, if you want to go back to your normal feed, you are able to do it as well. Okay. That's the main advantage of it. Okay. So until the time your new data is not coming, okay, it should display the old UI, that is your is pending thing is doing it. Okay, it's like a boolean value you get the moment you start the transition from this use transition hook. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Especially we use this a lot, especially when we are transitioning between the data. Okay, transitioning as in majorly it could be tabs, it could be some button, it could be some nav item, it could be anything. Okay, so we use this a lot, and I know in between while I was speaking, there was something like happened in terms of if the video paused a bit. Okay, so like probably the reason is I opened this here earlier. Okay, all right. So whatever I spoke of, okay. So concept of blocking and non-blocking UIs. Okay, so my UI was blocking freezing. Now it will not. So you guys can go back and read the code and everything is here. Okay. Also, if you want to get access to this complete app, the code that we have written in this 3 days. Okay. If you want to get access to it, then you can just join the community. Okay, so all the code, everything is present inside this code folder. Okay, it's basically on my GitHub. So once you join the community, you will get access to the GitHub link. Okay, a GitHub repo basically. Okay, so yeah, all right. So like I mentioned, next week we will have boot camp. So we will be having boot camps every week now. Okay, so next week we'll have more boot camp. So next week we'll keep not more of coding, but rather we'll keep more of kind of understanding how AI revolution, how what you should be learning, because I'm from edtech, right? I'm into edtech from past like so many years. Okay, so I can give you really good insights. Okay, about IT and everything, how you can prepare must have skills in the world of AI. Okay, So that is happening on 7. Okay, so you guys can join. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are going to watch after this live has ended, thank you so much. And if you want me to talk about any other topic related to Mon and Gen AI, feel free to put it in the comments. Okay, thank you. Bye.